Hey guys, welcome back. This is History of Power Rangers Season 3, Episode 23 of my show, but this is about Episode 22 of Season 3. Now, Episode 22 in Season 3 is known as Follow That Cab. But before I start talking about it, I just want to mention after this video, we'll have another 3-part episode to cover, which is the Different Shade of Pink 3-part episode. I just wanted to bring that up. And we'll put that in the description for this video as well when I finish recording and posting it. I just wanted to get that out of the way, though. And since we're on episode 22, that means, let's see, and it would technically be 23 where I started. Yeah, because there's 33 episodes in the main segment. Yeah, so I'll wait until I'm at episode 23, which is the next, which is the first part in the next 3-part episode. I'll explain about that later, but in the next video. But anyway, this is History of Power Rangers season 3, episode 23 of my show. But this is about episode 22 of season 3, and episode 22 in season 3 is known as Follow That Cab. Now, basically what happens is, the way this episode first starts off is, Kimberly and Aisha are outside at Ernie's cafe, and with Tommy as well, and then Kimberly's telling Ernie that he's glad that he's able have to help PC out with having something to drink, and then basically Ernie says that he's glad to because PC is his favorite furry customer, and then basically what happens is after that, then Kimberly gets back to reading, the paper, and that's when she sees that, this, world famous, gymnastics coach is gonna be in town in Angel Grove in the episode, which is Gunter Schmidt. He's gonna be training people for the, Global Olympic trials. So she decides to basically go meet him, and then basically what happens is after that, she decides to go meet him and stuff, and then that's when PC gets away and turns Catherine again, and then basically what happens is after that, Rita's telling her pet that basically she's telling Catherine that does she have any new information, and then she's saying that Kimberly has planned to go see the world famous gymnastics coach in order to train for the Global Olympic trials and Global Game trials, and then basically, then that's when they put their plan in motion, and then Zed contacts Rita by using his visor to look down at the earth, and then they're wondering if they can set their plan in motion now, and then she's saying, yes, it's a done deal, and then basically, what happens is, then she's telling Catherine, keep up the good work. You are such an evil little girl. And then the evil girl thing kind of does this echoey effect. Now, I think this is also leads into the part with the spell technically breaking on her. Because if you guys remember back when I did the 3-part episode, I think it was in the second last part of the 3-part episode, I stated that I thought that the spell was wearing off. And it seems like it's wearing off again in this episode I'm talking about, because basically as I stated, the spell would have begun to wear off in that 3-part episode and continue into this episode, but wouldn't actually fully wear off until part 1 in the 3-part episode that I'm going to cover in the next video. Anyway, basically, what I mean by that is how it starts to wear off this time is while Rita is saying evil girl, at the same time Catherine is having a flashback to when she was a kid in this episode and she was at school and she was receiving this award, and then good girl, and then basically in the flashback of teaching this awarding her saying good girl, and then it goes back into the real timeline where Rita says evil, and then she's like, you're wrong, I'm good, and then she uses her magic staff to temporarily turn her back to being evil again, and then she's like, you are evil as long as I say you are evil, and then she says evil, right, and then basically what happens is then she gets turned back into the cat form, and then what happens is after that, she shows up back where Kimberly and Ernie and Aisha are, and then Kimberly decides to then, cause she's debating whether she should go see Gunther Schmidt, and then basically, Tommy is saying that's what's stopping her because it's a dream to go see him and wanting to compete in the Hangover trial, so she decides to go. And this also kind of leads into what's going to happen with Bulk and Skull, because basically, before she goes to see him, she tries to go to her car, but at the same time, her car is being carjacked. But at this time, Bulk and Skull don't know that the guy's carjacking it, so he thinks he says, oh, maybe in a car, and then basically, he thinks that it's his car, and then he sees it, and they see it, and then they help him, and then they say that he's going to find us, and then he said that they're doing a good job, and then she gets away, and then the guy in Kimberly's car gets away, and then she tells them that the guy stole her car, and then they decide to basically follow him because they didn't know that the guy was a carjacker at the time. So partially, it's not really their fault. It was just a misunderstanding on their part. They didn't know. Anyway, so they commandeer a taxi cab in order to basically use the taxi cab as a chase vehicle. Now, the taxi cab that they use in this episode is actually going to be what Rita and Zed are going to be used to create their monster. Because basically, when Rita sees about the cab, she decides to put a plan into motion to basically turn one of the Rangers into a monster. And basically what her plan is this time is to turn one of the Rangers into a monster and use the Rangers that they turned into a monster to destroy the others, basically, and lure the others into a trap to destroy them. Now, technically, they don't actually turn them into a monster, not like how Rito did in the video I covered for episode 10 of this 3rd season. But they turn the vehicle, the taxi cab that they commandeered, that Bulk, Skull, and Kimberly commandeered in order to chase the car thief, they turn that into the Krabby Cabby monster. And then when the Krabby Cabby monster gets turned into it, he's like, Krabby Cabby here. I don't stop for no one, no way, and I don't like that. I will, however, take you on the ride of your life, your last ride. And then, they don't know, because by this point they were still using the cab, but before it was turned into a monster, so the cab takes over control. And then the Rangers basically, in the next scene, that's when the alarm in the command center goes off, and then Zordon has Alpha contact the rest of the Rangers to inform them about the situation, about dealing with the monster this time, and then they teleport to the command center first to learn about the situation, and then basically, Zordon tells them that Rita and Zed have turned the Cab monster into the Cab into the Krabby Cabby monster, which has Bulk Skull and Kimberly trapped inside of it, and they're wondering if there's anything they can do to save it, and the Rangers are wondering if the Alpha can do anything to save them, and then basically he says he's been working on a way to extract them from the monster, that so that they can destroy the monster without having to worry about hurting the others, because that's part of the reason why they're doing that, is because they can't destroy the monster if the monster has people inside of it. Because if they destroy the monster when there's people inside of it, they destroy the people that are inside of it as well. So tactically, it makes sense in this case. And then basically what happens is that the Rangers then go to deal with the Krabby Cabby monster. And then basically, while Alpha works on this device, and now I'm just going to mention something about the device he works on. It's basically an extractor device similar to, I guess you could kind of think of it as sort of similar to a device that, one of the devices that was used in the previous seasons. I can't remember which one, but I know there was a device where one of the Rangers was extracted from some... it was back in season 3 season 1, when, the High monster and when a couple of the Rangers were trapped in a dimensional kind of thing where they had to escape. So it's sort of reminiscent of those episodes, some of the episodes in season 2 and 1 at this point, where they try to rescue them and it's trapped, and then basically, Alpha says that there's a danger because with 3 people, the results could be anything. They could end up with Kimberly or Kimber Bulk. Oh my god, that's funny. I'm sorry, that's just funny. Because, anyway, they decide that they have to take that risk, and then basically that's when Zordon tells them that they have their new shark cycles to use, so they chase after they morph to their Ranger forms and use the shark cycles to basically deal with the Krabby Cabby monster. And then basically what happens is after that, the Rangers are chasing the Krabby Cabby monster in their shark cycles. Now, I'm going to mention something about the shark cycles. It's stated by the Zordon that the shark cycles are sort of based off of a prehistoric shark fin, basically, which is why they're called shark cycles, and they're shaped like a shark. So it's sort of, and he said that they're quick and agile, and then they decide to use them to try to capture the Krabby Cabby monster and get it to release the 3 captives. And then basically what happens is the Rangers then chase the Krabby Cabby monster in those shark cycles, and then after a while they were chasing it the first time, he's like, "Eat my dust, you power puppets," and then he's like, "My sucker cousin the limo never had any much fun like this." And then basically after that, Kimberly Bulk and Skull are still trapped in the Krabby Cabby monster, and that's when Rita and Zed make the monster grow, which causes it to become a giant cab monster, and then basically that's when Bulk, Skull, and Kimberly get out of the Zord, out of the monster, and then the Rangers fight the Krabby Cabby monster and the Megazord. Well, the Rangers, aside from Kimberly at this point, because she doesn't morph to help the Rangers, because by this point she had just gotten out of the Krabby Cabby monster, so I'm guessing for time constraint purposes, they didn't, when the creators made the show for this episode, they didn't want her to, since she was a civilian for this episode. That's just a little bit of personal information. That's just what my opinion on that part. Anyway, the Rangers then defeat the Krabby Cabby monster in their Shogun sword. And then Zed gets a little upset with Rita. He's like, turn one of the Rangers into a monster. Use it to destroy the Rangers. I'll never listen to your plans at all. Ever again, Rita. They never work. Ever. And then, basically, Rita and Zed start arguing, and then they say that they'll get the Rangers next time, and then basically, what happens is, then it goes into a scene where Kimberly is back at the outdoor cafe, and then Tommy is saying that he's sorry that she wasn't able to see Gunther Schmidt, but that's actually a good thing that she didn't, because she's actually going to meet him in the next video I'm going to cover. Anyway, basically what happens is after that, then they see PC down there, and then Kimberly says that, oh, isn't a good cat? And then she says that, wouldn't it be nice if they were a cat? They'd have to just lay around all day and not have to worry about anything. And then the cat does this little gleaming eye thing, and then that's basically where this episode stops. So if you guys like this video when I post it, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And I will see you guys next time for part 1 in the 3-part episode, A Different Shade of Pink. Now, I will put that in the description of this video. I just wanted to get that out of the way. But until then, until part 1 in that 3-part episode, guys, just please give this video the real best you guys can. And I will see you guys next time. And like I always tell you with this series, may the power protect you always.